Hi everybody, welcome back to the Montessori project for this Valentine's Day video about how to be your toddler's secret admirer. You know, the other day I was playing with my granddaughter Grace. She's about 2.5 now, and I was sitting on the floor in her bedroom, and she said to me, "Mimi, take off your sock." And I said, "But Gracie, if I take off my sock, my feet will be cold. Why would I do that?" And she said, "So you could put it on." So, what does that have to do with Valentine's Day and being a secret admirer? Well, it helps me illustrate something that I really would like you to try and do with your toddler this Valentine's Day, and that is to become your child's secret admirer, but not in the way you're thinking. What I'd really like you to do is to understand that your child has a secret that they're keeping from you. And I want you to respect that secret and allow them to keep it and to become an admirer of that secret. Okay? So let's talk about what we mean by that. The reason your child is keeping this secret is not because they're trying to hide something from you, it's because they can't explain it to you. Montessori actually saw her whole career as about discovering what that secret was and explaining it to adults because children can't do it for themselves. And the reason they can't do it is because they're living it and they're in the midst of it. The secret is simply the principle that's governing their growth and development. It's just nature, really. It's your child's mind and body and emotions are just following a natural pattern of growth. And they can no more disobey that drive to grow than a tadpole can prevent itself from becoming a frog. And Montessori actually used this image of a tadpole and a frog um, to make a wonderful point about parenting and the ways we can, with the best of intentions, sometimes interfere with our child's development. So she actually said that we need to be so aware of this secret that children have and to honor it and not interfere with it, that she wrote, "A child without a secret becomes an adult without a personality." And that's a pretty bold and strong claim, and I don't want to scare parents with it. But what she was trying to emphasize to us is how important it is for us to become aware of this secret. And so she describes this. What she calls a foolish mother frog, out of best intentions, trying to parent her tadpole by saying to little tadpoles in the pool, "Come out of the water, breathe the fresh air, enjoy yourself in the young grass, and you will all grow into strong, healthy little frogs. Come along now, mother knows best." And the little tadpoles, if they tried to obey, it would certainly mean the end of the tadpoles. This is from a little book called The Child, Society, and the World. They're essays and interviews published by by Montessori, published by the Montessori Pearson Publishing Company. So anyway, this is a very fascinating little example because her point was that tadpoles swim around in water and can't behave like frogs. They can't jump out of the water and thrive on the land. And they shouldn't behave like frogs, right? No, any more than children should behave like adults. They can't behave like adults and they shouldn't. When adults expect children to behave like us, we're actually forgetting the secret of childhood, right? Which is a secret they can't tell us about. but that is governing their behavior. It's just the secret of their growth and development. So, and honestly, once we begin to see the child's behavior through this lens of the secret of childhood, we begin to see some of their odd, what appears like odd and strange behaviors to us, sometimes very disobedient behaviors, as quite miraculous signs of the unfolding of the miracle of life. So, how do we show our love and admiration for this secret? Um, Much like the mother frog in Montessori's example, sometimes the best thing we can do is just sit on the shore or hop on a lily pad and sit back and enjoy the show and just watch what our children are doing. Um, it's interesting that one of the ways that we do show love and admiration for older children and adults is not just by sitting back and watching, it's by engaging, asking questions, wanting to be involved in their lives. We want to know, how are you feeling? What are you up to? What are you involved in? Explain it to me. And that's really quite a lovely thing to do with adults and older children, but not with toddlers. To ask a toddler to explain something like that is to just really cause frustration because they can't explain it. They're just doing it, right? No more than a tadpole can explain what they're doing. They're just becoming a frog. It's just a given, right? Um, and it's interesting that the most unique and really vital aspect of this secret of child development um, is something that's really in direct opposition to adult life, and that's that toddlers do not care a whit about results, right? They will just be repeating the same activity over and over again without seeming to get anywhere. They are inefficient and in the extreme, really. Um, and they never quite finish anything, it seems, in the adult sense of that, right? So mostly we can find this pretty annoying. We can think our children are being deliberately disobedient or obstructing us or trying to prevent us from getting somewhere on time, and when parents did complain about this to Dr. Montessori, to their about their children's very troublesome behaviors, um, she told them that story of the foolish frog, and she said that instead of trying to get your toddler to conform to adult behaviors, why don't you try letting your children just do whatever they want and see where it takes them? Just let them, just stand back and let them follow their own interests and see what happens. Um, most parents reacted like, no, that doesn't sound like a good idea. That sounds a little crazy. But she said, just watch and see how something will catch their interest. And again, I'm reading from this little book. Perhaps they see you turn a key in the lock and want to do it too, or help you sweep, or just make some funny little pattern with pebbles on your tidy floor. And on any ordinary day, you would say, don't get in the way, go play with your toys. But today, try something different. Give them the key. Try to find a little brush for them to sweep with. Leave the pattern on the floor and see how absorbed they become. It is often not enough for children to do a thing once or twice, but they will perform the same simple action over and over again until they seem to have satisfied some inner urge. You will be surprised how they keep out of mischief when they are allowed to busy themselves with something that really interests them. And now here's her point about being an admirer of this secret of childhood and not interfering with it. She goes on, but if you interfere impatiently and stop some absorbing occupation, you will destroy your child's concentration and perseverance, valuable lessons he is teaching himself, and he will become dissatisfied and filled with a sense of disappointment and restlessness, and will very likely find an outlet in deliberate mischief. So, what her point is that what looks like pointless behavior to us is actually quite purposeful behavior to children. Toddlers are doing the same thing over and over again, much the way a musician will practice scales over and over again, or a basketball player will practice free throws over and over again. And no one would ever tell them to stop doing that repetitive behavior, because we would be undermining their acquiring of new skills. And that is the same thing that's going on with children. The secret of childhood is that the way they grow and develop is through becoming quite absorbed in doing a behavior over and over again until it is part and parcel of who they are. As she says, until an inner urge is satisfied and they have acquired that skill that they long to have. Um, so this, back to this little story of Gracie to asking me to take off my sock. Um, when I asked her why I would take off a sock when it was already keeping my foot warm, I was coming at this problem from a very adult perspective, right? I was very goal oriented. I wanted to keep my feet warm, so I put on my socks. But Grace's concern was quite different. She's actually quite absorbed with learning how to put her socks on. And she does really love taking them off and putting them back on again. She's repeating it over and over, and she thinks putting socks on and off is like a wonderful way to spend your time. You know, come on, Mimi, take it off so we can put it back on again. It's wonderful. It's fun. It's exciting from a toddler perspective, right? So I did. I took my sock off and we played with the sock and we put it back on and we had a lovely time together. But I know we don't always have the freedom of that kind of time with our toddlers. We're always seem to have some place to go and something to accomplish. We do have jobs and lives, and kids have to get to school and so forth, and it's perfectly fine. But what I'm suggesting for you this Valentine's Day is a way to really send a message of love to your toddler. Is to try two things. One, try and make some time to be unstructured, ungoal oriented with your child in the way that Montessori suggested to the parents. Let them have that key and just try that lock over and over. Let them sweep to the heart's content. Let them take their socks on and off, on and off. When you can find the time to do it, it's great. But when you can't find the time to do it, right? This is the second part of what I'm asking you to do. When you do have places to go and things to do and stuff to get accomplished, please do not see your toddler's inability to cooperate with you as deliberate disobedience or some mischievous intent on their part. It really is not any reflection on their attitude towards you. In fact, their attitude towards you is one of love and respect, and all they do want to do is obey you the best they can. But the secret of their own stage of development is that sometimes their drive is so strong that they can't disobey it. They're not disobeying you. They're just being true to their own secret that they're keeping and treasuring and following as best they can. And if we allow them that respect and that admiration and don't react in anger or frustration to them, we will see them thrive. They will develop into strong, unique individuals with incredible personalities, and they will become truly remarkable adults. So, this Valentine's Day, I encourage you to become your toddler's secret admirer. And please, I would love to hear stories of your children following their own secrets and the times that you can joyfully spend with them. So, thank you so much for listening. Bye bye.